Hi. Hey guys. How are you? How are you? How are you? Happy Monday. Last Monday of February. If you blinked for too long, you missed February because it's over, girl. um, hello. Welcome. If you do not know me, my name is Tenille. I guide people through reclaiming their lives and identities and designing a full life through uh, diagnosis or life disruption or any of those things, okay? I help women diagnosed with lupus or other chronic illness go from confused and discouraged to healed, hopeful, and in control of the medical narrative. So today, I have many special things to introduce you to, but mainly, you see, I'm wearing pink, right? You see, I'm wearing pink. Okay, so somebody that I have been watching for literal years and was like admiring from afar, and I did not even know. I didn't even know the many other things that she had been through. I just thought, look at this pink-haired baddie floating through the room, talking to everybody. Everybody knows her. They just she walks into the room and they're like, there she is, because she has a presence about her, and she is a badass businesswoman. Okay, and on top of that, she has not only survived but thrived through chronic illness. She's a vet. She fought for our country. While she's always fighting for her life. Like, I don't even understand. Like, I have every reason to ask y'all to take out your notebooks right now. Like, this is not a game. This is not a drill. This is for real. She is the real deal, and I need y'all to act as such. Okay? Can y'all see me everywhere? We need to make sure that everybody's on point. We're not playing. Get out your pink notebooks, your pink paper, your pink pens. We have a superstar in the building. All right. All right. Thank you. I'm so glad that you guys are commenting. Hey Facebook, hey YouTube. Where's my Instagram at? If you are seeing me, you should see me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Hi. Hey guys. Okay, we're about to make some noise in here for Miss Pinky herself, Char. Yes.
Hey, hey, hey!
I'm so glad you're here. See, I told y'all, pink hair, pink outfit. I tried to match you, I wanted to be like,
Gotta
So,
be on brand, girl. Come on.
yes. So, please, Shar, if you would, introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Well, who am I? Currently, I'm basking in the sun. That's who I am. Hello, everyone. My official legal name is Char, known as the ultimate lifestyle warrior, owner of Fly Far with Char, where we live life and fly far. I'm an trauma trained military clinician, now military retiree turned full time lifestylepreneur.
Yes.
And what I love to do is help people learn to live life full out while they're alive, making life easy on the budget and collecting memories along the way, my friend. Let's go.
Amen. I love that. Okay. So, uh, man, I have a million questions. I'm gonna dial it back. Okay, um, so I met you, and we were in the same under the same umbrella of a company, and I genuinely had no idea that you had any like chronic illness background or anything like that. You just have like a presence. You walk in, and you can just tell you're powerful woman. So, how old were you when you were diagnosed with a chronic illness?
Okay, well, this is a fascinating story, Tanil. I was actually just to set the stage for everyone because life's for all of us. It's just a matter of that process. I was actually at the apex of my career, both athletically and professionally. I was running my first hospital, an ER, as an ER chief, and training for the Olympics when this all showed up. And that's when those curveballs or those boulder balls come crashing down and life splinters into a million pieces. So I was in my late 20s when I had a life threatening diagnosis of cancer show up while training for the Olympics, y'all. Like, that was my thing. The profession was great, but I was dialed in to get to the Olympics in 2004. There's a caveat that turned out pretty good there. That's when the first diagnosis happened.
Wow. That's insane. I don't know if you write this down, people. Disease does not care if you are training for the Olympics, you are at your prime, you are doing everything right. Because who's in the Olympics and thinks they're going to be sick for any reason?
That right there. Mm-hmm.
You're doing all the right things. Disease does not care. And as we can see, homegirl's still here. So she did something right. Okay, so you get diagnosed.
Yep.
And what happens after? Like, did life just crumble, or like what happened to?
Nope, absolutely not. See, in the military, we don't get days off, folks. We just figure it out. Okay. There is not a lot of time to take time off. Obviously, I had to have some medical procedures to take care of things. And because I was training for the Olympics, and that had been a lifetime dream and goal of mine since I was really, really tiny. Okay. That was part of this divine download that I received when I was 6 years old. Yeah. So I wasn't willing to let that go. And it gave me something positive to focus on. So because of all of that, I chose non-traditional medical treatment as a traditionally trained medical clinician. Go figure that out.
Speaking my language. Okay. Yeah. That I would love to just dive into that a little bit, because how did you come to that conclusion, and what did your peers think of you? Like, was everyone like, "You're crazy, what do you do?" You know, like, how did that go?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a great question, because there was very much mixed reviews from inside my profession, my friend group, and those in my support corner. I just knew enough about the human body and what I had witnessed, working in hospitals and ERs. You see a lot of interesting things that really make you think if you're paying attention. And I just knew if I put substances in my body that were not going to help it be strong for the Olympics, that it probably had no business being there, because the body knows how to heal itself. We just have to give it what it needs. It's like a recipe. This is what I always say. If we're baking a cake, now think about your favorite cake, whatever those ingredients might be. Most cakes have some sort of starch or flour in it. And if we forget that and put everything in the pan and put it in the oven, when that timer goes off, there's no cake coming out of that oven, okay? Because we forgot a key ingredient. So I just tried to limit the amount of things I did not believe belonged in the body, so that my body could be positioned as best as possible. And again, I had to have something to focus on way out there. And that was the Olympic goal that kept me going, amongst the fact that I had a newborn, which was a miracle in and of itself. And I needed to live, and I needed to live well and healthy.
Girl, you left that whole part out. She had a newborn, cancer, and the Olympics all in the same. She was like, yeah, just whatever. Had to birth the baby. It's fine. No, that's crazy. That's a lot. Okay, so if I'm taking notes, I'm putting in my notebook right now. The body knows how to heal itself. You have to give it the correct ingredients, which I wholeheartedly believe. Yeah. I've never had chemo or any of that stuff, even though it is a lupus treatment these days. And I do know, I've been in the room when people are getting it, and to have it administered, the nurses are suited and booted, head to toe, covered. Don't get it on me. Don't get it on anything. If anything is contaminated with it, But they're injecting it into your actual body, and they're like, "This is great. This is great for you." I'm just wearing a hazmat suit, but it is great for you. So I totally understand and believe that that's not something that I would want to put in my body. And if I could find an alternative, I 100% will.
Yeah. All day long and twice on Sunday for this girl.
Amen. Okay. Yes. So now you do these alternatives, and I'm guessing you still made it to the Olympics.
Well, this is a little twisty turny. Yes, that's the answer generally. The general rainbow here is yes. However, understand, back in this time, this was many decades ago, before holistic approaches, wellness clinics, IV therapies, functional medicine really had a more knowing in the public forum. So I was having to search really hard to find things available where I was. And being in the service, we get stationed, we live a lot of different types of places inside and outside the country. So I had a lot of movement going on. What was fascinating is right during this time, as I was figuring out the balance, how to not overdo it with my body, because I might be an overachiever or a recovering overachiever. Just say that, okay?
Might be.
Well, yeah, y'all are smart people, okay? The U.S. Olympic rugby coach came to my Olympic lifting coach. So by training, I was training as an Olympic weightlifter, powerlifter turned Olympic weightlifter. Okay. I had played rugby in college, and the U.S. Olympic coach was putting together the first ever women's rugby team because women's rugby had not yet been accepted into the Olympics internationally as an Olympic summer sport. Men's had, but women's hadn't. So there were several countries, the U.S. being one, putting together the first squad to go to the 96 Olympics and actually try out before the committee to get that sport adopted. Did not happen until 2000. And just wait till the next Summer Olympics. Our Lady Ruggers have done amazing. I'm proud of them.
Yes.
So that was a twist and turn, because I was not, the Olympics I was actually focused on was 2004, going back to Greece where it all started, not 1996. I thought, I don't know that we can do this. Well, as it turned out, I got a different duty station to live, which was really close to where half of the team was practicing and training. And that's probably one of the best things that could have happened, because I was so focused, like an arrow point, of making that team, that I believed, I will tell you, I survived things differently. Even I felt different where they moved me to for my job. It just happened to be really well lined up with that. So we did do that. That was just not the plan. The plan was 2004, and in my world, God has all the answers. So he clearly had a different plan. And I believe that was the beginning of my body being able to make eventually a full U-turn because of what I learned and experienced during that time.
Yes, that is divine. That's not a coincidence. That is 100. That's a God thing. That is a God thing. Hey guys, hey everybody joining. Tell us where you're tuning in from. Say hello to Char. You're missing a good story. You're gonna need to get the replay, because we in a few minutes and it's gotten good already. It's good. Okay, so wow, that is crazy. So now you end up doing this. Were people on board with you doing it the holistic route, or were you like
professionally? Absolutely not. No way. My colleagues thought I was absolutely crazy. What are you doing? You're too young. You've got a young child. Wah, 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 wah is what I heard. And honestly, I didn't tell a lot of people back. So understand, while it may look like it's easy for me to talk now, and I've got this whole pink brand going on now, this is many, 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 many decades down the road. Back in that time, I was very, very, very close hold about my personal business. So not even the people that worked for me in the hospital that I supervised knew a lot of the serious things that were going on. Because my belief at the time was that it was none of their business. I'm there as a professional to do a job, as are they, and that's all we're going to talk about. I mean, many of them didn't even know that I had a little baby at home, and that I had just been left by my previous partner at the time. So I came home one day, there was a note on the door, and here now single parent life starts during this whole thing as well.
What? Hold on here. Okay, wait. You're throwing things into, I don't know. Wow. Okay. So not only that she has a baby at home, people at work don't even know. People at work don't even know about the diagnosis situation, huh? They don't know. Okay.
No, only those that needed to. Like my boss had to know, because I had to go to a different facility for obviously exams and things like that.
Yeah. Wow. So what were you doing during that time? Like, you're holding all of these things so close to your chest. Like nowadays, listen, I'm taking people to my doctor's appointments with me. I'm like, listen,
Oh yeah,
what's
for
going
sure.
on? Tell me. And like social media, honestly, helped me when I was in the hospital for months at a time. It's the only way I stayed in contact with people. My friends are all around the country and different states, and that's how I felt connected. And back then, was there social media?
No, ma'am. This was
Yeah.
this was in the 90s, y'all. There was
Oh,
no social media. The
yeah.
iPhone didn't even come out till 2007, folks. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's put it in perspective
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
history. I would probably do things different today, but I also have a lot more life wisdom. I've grown a lot. I understand the power of storytelling, being transparent, with integrity and excellence. So in today, if this journey started today, I would definitely do it different, Tenille. And
Mhm.
back then, this was leading up to something that happened in 2007. The journey was really long. And I
Wow.
know because of our thinking in the US, it just took longer to find enough professionals that were on board with my thinking and for me to connect with them and their expertise to
Mhm.
put the plan together to help me get through to the other end. And it's actually really beautiful because of what happened in 2007. So my journey started in the early 90s and finally came to a close officially January 12th, 2012. So 2007 is the real big next demarcation line in this story.
Okay. All right. Take us there. Listen, there's so many nuggets. If you are here and don't watch the replay, you have a super memory, because I am out here trying to categorize all the things that she's telling us right now. Like it's blow after blow, and she's just blazing through it like I would never, and I've known this woman forever. I would never have known that she was doing all of this by herself and with. She's just so poised. You are just so poised. Like you are very
Now,
like
now,
yeah. Like how I want to whimper hearing the story. So tell us how you got to the next landmarkation you said of the story.
Okay, so 2007 is kind of the next, well, the second to next, I guess, landmark on the health side. But I'm going to insert a really big one in here. And I want to let the viewers know that this may be a trigger for some people. And I recognize that because it's still challenging for me as well. But in this journey, as we came through 96, 97, 98, a new partner came into my life. So that was going well. And we got moved to be able to go to a different location. And then 12 weeks later, something called 9/11 happened. And I was in one of the locations, my whole family, my kids. Yeah, it was all there. So that added into the mix. And at this particular time, the cancer was really at bay. And January 2002 was when the real fight for my life happened. It came back with a vengeance, no surprise. Having the place you work be hit by an airplane and everything that went with that. We don't need to rehash that for anyone here. That's when it all got crazy.
Yeah. It's the trigger for all chronic illness. Like not the only, right? But the trigger for all chronic illness is definitely stress.
Yeah.
How you get to take care of yourself. It's a privilege to be able to do things holistically, to be able to find the right foods and the right, activities and the right stress management to keep things at bay. So yes, and cancer is one of those things that come back and come back and come back. And that is why it is one of the chronic illnesses. So wow. So you get through that. And I mean, that shook the world. Like I was in Florida at the time, but my whole family was in New York City. So I was in high school melting down. Like, is everyone okay? All the phone lines shut down. Y'all know. We're not going back. But I'm just saying, that would shake anybody who's not completely healthy to start. That's going to shake you. So
Yeah.
you get through that.
So, well, we're in process. We were in process for a long time.
Yeah.
Understand being in the profession that I was, late in the next couple of days following that day, I got assigned a new job. And that was to be a mortuary officer
Oof.
for one of the families who lost their family members
Oh, no.
on the airplane that day. So now I have the burden that you never want as a military member,
Mm.
to go to a home of a wife with two children and have to deliver the news
My heart.
and carry this with them and carry them through that experience and everything that went with it. And that those are too many details.
Yeah.
Just understand that amount of additional responsibility for me on top of what I was already dealing with. It was no surprise to me, January 2002, that my health condition returned with a vengeance and was after my life in a very big way. So, gratefully, my oncologist in the location where I had been moved to was an incredibly brilliant, faithful, prayer filled man in
Mm.
the Navy. And just, I mean, this guy could think of solutions like some people eat a bowl of candy. I mean, it was just amazing. And this is another divine appointment in around the 2006 time frame.
Mhm.
And I'd come in, I'd started having some significant issues, and I was needing to come in a lot more often, and it got a little dicey and scary for both of us. And I just said, "Listen, I am done." I mean, remember, this all started in the early '90s. We're now in 2006. Okay, your girl was worn out emotionally, spiritually, physically, the whole 9 yards. And for the first time, I prayed to die,
Oh.
and that scared me.
Mm.
And I just knew that I was at my human fleshly end.
Oh my goodness.
And at this appointment, he heard me out, what I was coming in for, all the things. And he goes, "I think I have an answer." That little smile, like, I know something you don't know.
Mm.
And understand, as a professional, I respected this guy as a colleague. He was one of my favorite to work with. I felt honored that I got to, work with him in the patient care realm and just pick his brain as a professional and a human.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I just got the massive blessing of my career." And I thought, whoa, he'd been practicing for almost 30 years at this point in time. And I'm like, wow, what is that? And he goes, "I think we have a solution."
Whew.
And it would bring us out from under the umbrella of all the only available things in the military healthcare system, and we can do whatever we want. I said, "Oh, what's that?"
Wow.
And he had gotten accepted into what we call an open research arm of a federally mandated women's healthcare study in the United States.
Mm.
And he said, "You have to go over to this different location here in town, and you have to do your normal patient things, go to my nurse there and do an intake. And we are just going to pray that you qualify." Now, understand, in the service, we are not allowed to speak about our personal political or faith beliefs, things like that, especially when in uniform, because someone that might outrank, it's like being a big time supervisor in the corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
could be seen as using their position, rank, or power to coerce someone that is below them in a supervisory sense or a lower rank,
Mm-hmm.
to sway a belief a certain way. So
Yeah.
I had not known that he was a prayer warrior like me until he said that statement. And I said, hold up, we're going to talk.
Yeah.
So in this same conversation, as he's telling me to go down and do an intake for this opportunity that would allow us the medical freedom to literally do whatever we wanted to do, I said, "So you pray, do you?" He's like, "Yes." And we agreed at that point that together we would come together in agreement and pray about every step with my case going forward. And that is the magic when it all
Oh,
changed.
oh my goodness. I'm teared up. Y'all can't, I don't know if you can see I got glasses on, all that, but that is, I have chills. Like, there, she and I are the same in a way. Like, chronic illness warriors, right? Both of us didn't want this anymore. We were just done. And it's not, you know, it's not more courageous to decide to live. Like, it's human condition that this hurts for long enough, you can either give up or you can keep going.
Yeah.
The people who have lived through things have definitely had the moment that they needed to decide to cut off from any other possibility. You're deciding if you want to live or want to die. With any of these chronic illnesses, it is not a game. It is a decision that you are making. And we're so grateful you made the right one. We're so grateful that you had a prayer warrior with you, because prayer changes things. I don't care what anyone says. Prayer changes things. And when two or more are gathered,
there he shall also be.
Amen. Okay? Look, that story, I have chills, Char. That's so good. God is so good. Okay.
All the time, sister. All the time.
All the time. Okay. So, wow. So you get in this covenant with this human being who is a prayer warrior, and the comments, y'all. Hold on. Let me read a couple comments because they're so good. Okay, powerful. I'm bawling over here, ladies. Pray to die. Wow. The end of our own efforts, and still God has the bigger plan. Amen. Your oncologist was a godsend, for real. You are such a rock star, Char. I'm so thankful for you. Yes. Stress is a trigger so much. I was dealing with getting overstimulated. Oh, yes. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? This is an excellent podcast. There's more. Yeah. Every time she's telling the story, I'm like, what? There's more? It's crazy.
We're only about halfway through, folks. Come on.
Yeah, come on. This is nuts. Living life so close to the vest requires a spiritual foundation that is divinely fortified. God bless you. Okay, Tony. He's a wordsmith. All his comments are like that. Amazing. Okay, so now we're here. You're getting this treatment, and how does that turn out? I mean,
well, I love that you made the assumption, because that's exactly right. As God would have it, I got accepted into this research study. Fantastic. So again, we now had medical freedom, which is when everything really began to change. And my oncologist had, just like I said, brilliant man, and brought together all of these very unique, out of the box thinking medical professionals in their own specialty. So a lot of things happened, and because it was proper research, I don't know all the details. I can never know, but I'm pretty intuitive. So I used my nose. I smelled a lot of things. I tried to remember the tastes, and I would journal every day so that when we got through the other end, I kind of figured out several things that I still practice today.
Wow.
And as we're going down this road, I finally made the decision that I needed to have a double mastectomy to relieve that stress on my body so we could really move in the direction of healing.
Right.
And that is when it all shifted again, because you see, now we're in 2006, going into 2007. I've been at this thing for a very long time. Okay, very long time. Started in the early 90s. So you can imagine, on top of everything, I mean, just regular life. We all have lives, right?
Motherhood, taking care of a household, all of that.
Right. My profession, the Olympic, all the things, right? And I was just tired. And the surgery went well initially, and then my body wouldn't heal. And I kept literally right in the center of my chest, kind of in the upper part of the sternum. So if everybody just put your hand there right now, put your right hand right there, just to the right of your heart, the top of the sternum, right there. My body kept bleeding out, trying to kill me.
Oh.
We have two very, very large blood vessels that run down the sides of our sternum. And for me, my body was tired. She was done.
Yeah.
So here I am in the hospital trying to recover once again, because every time this happened, they had to open me back up. So in about an 11-month span, I had 8 surgeries that were not planned. Okay.
8 surgeries.
Yes.
Somebody gets a hip replacement, have 1 surgery, and they're talking about it for decades. Remember back in Bippity Boppity, I had that surgery. 8 surgeries.
Yeah.
Oh
It
my
was,
God.
again, another one of those lows where it was just time to be done. And I'd been in the hospital and had a roommate the whole time. This particular day, I was at my wit's end. I was edgy. I was definitely not being a nice person. I love my children, but I had had enough. So I told their dad, I said, y'all need to leave. And he was like, great, I'm going to take him anyway. I was like, good riddance. You know, it was like one of those kind of attitudes.
Right.
And right after they departed, the hospital staff came and moved my roommate to a different room. Now, understand, I'd been in the hospital for a hot minute at this point, like a hot, long minute. Okay.
I feel you.
Okay. So in that 11 months time, I'd spent more time in the hospital than out. Okay. Yeah. And I'd always had a roommate, and they came and moved her. And now for the first time, I was completely by myself when I woke up in heaven.
Wait, what? Wait, huh? Wait, huh? Wait. Run that back. Excuse me, ma'am. What do you mean? You woke up in heaven? What?
That's what I mean. I passed on and had a heavenly experience. That was number 1 of 2.
So, hold on. I gotta reboot my brain. Hold on. What? Okay. So you woke up in heaven.
Yeah.
You were alone. Keep telling the story, because I'm shocked, and I don't know what exactly to say. And this is a podcast, so I have to say things. So help me. What is happening right now?
So I had the first of 2 heavenly experiences. This would be the only one associated with this cancer journey thing. And what I realized at the end of all that, when I was sent back to this body, and yes, I'm here today. Yeah. I'm with you in the flesh, just like Tenille is.
I met her in real life. She's real, and she's alive. So
yeah, very much so. Yeah. I realized then in retrospect that I, in my flesh, really was living in a hopeless state. I didn't realize it in the moment,
right?
Because I needed perspective to be able to see myself differently. And I know God gave me that experience for me to understand that I could have hope, that a day like today would come when I get to meet someone like Tenille and share the story in hopes that it helps someone like you listening to this, watching it right now. Because back then, I never felt like it was going to end. And I got to experience the garden of life. The tree of life was to my right. Just the eternal joy, the children, the animals, the constant sound, the big waterfalls in the book of Revelation to my left. Y'all, I tried really hard to stay, really hard. And every time I tried to step into the scene, it was like I was hitting a glass wall. And I thought, what is going on? Well, obviously, I was there to be a viewer, not a participant. And the last memory I have of that first heavenly visit was the Lord being before me as I'm looking through the little tiny nail holes. And in the deepest bass voice I've still heard to this day in my life, I've got this. Now you, as I'm being tapped on that place in the sternum where I asked you to put your hand earlier, go tell anyone who will listen. And then I woke back up in my body, in the hospital room, by myself, no staff around, no family, no roommate, trying to sort out what had just happened to me. Now remember, Tenille, In this time, I was still very private about my personal life, especially professionally. And he had just told me, you go tell anyone who will listen. Folks, had this offer to be on this podcast today happened back then, it would have been a hard no at the first ask. I would have never recircled back. I know from that experience, at that moment, it stopped being about Char and Char's issues.
Say it again. This is not about you. 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 This is divine. You are fighting something for a reason. You are here listening to this podcast for a reason. You are alive for a reason. The Lord knew, by the way, sidebar. The Lord knew not to send me nowhere. Because if I'm in heaven, I am staying, sir. What are you doing? Like, no, I'm staying. Anyways, that's wild. And I'm so proud of you because I understand. Like, I don't know that I was ever super private. But I understand. I have plenty of chronic illness friends who, to this day, it's like pulling teeth to have them to admit what's going on with them because it's like some kind of weird, to me weird, but like shame or like no one has paid and purchased illness. Like no one has said like, oh, you know what? I want some nachos and some fries and some chronic illness. Like that has never happened. So,
and we probably shouldn't eat those things over time, Tenille, because they're going to cause chronic illness.
Yeah. Probably. That's very true. Very true. But this is not something to hide. This is not. We just said we need to pray together. We need to look for the right treatments together. We need to be in community. Community cures a multitude of.
Like, say that again. Come on, say it again, girl.
Community cures a multitude of ills. We need each other. Yes. We need each other. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you're here telling this story. I'm so grateful you are alive. I'm so grateful that this story has been compiled the way it has because the fact that you kept track of the stuff. A lot of people go through stuff and like hide it so hard that they're not even able to tell it. And yet you were obedient to God when he told you, girl, you better tell this story. Talk about me. Tell them how this really is going. So you come back. You are alone for the first time, okay? And you have had this whole experience. Now, what's your next step?
Y'all are gonna laugh. This gets funny. This turns into a little bit of a comedy show in a medical sick kind of way. Because you know we have a weird sense of humor. Just saying. So I want to backtrack for just a second, Tenille. The fact when you said the fact that I kept track of things. Mm-hmm. Understand the only person besides my relationship with my Heavenly Father, my survival was journaling. So I became very disciplined about getting it all out. And that helped me because I've got stacks and stacks of journals and I date everything. Mm-hmm. So when I finally got to a healed enough place where I could bear to witness myself again, I looked back through them to put the timeline together to be able to share the story with the hope that it would help at least one person every time my mouth opens.
Amen. Ooh, and goal. I love that.
That's really powerful because every story needs to be told. It doesn't matter if it's chronic illness related or not. There's power in storytelling. That is what helps move other humans into action and belief that they can too. You know, whatever it might be. All right.
Just preaching. I'm in my mind. I'm singing. I'm just. This. You are preaching. Okay. There's power in Jesus. Talk about it. That is so true. That is so true. And I have not had the courage really to go back through my journals of like at my sickest.
I get it.
It is
in time.
Yeah.
In time, honey. It'll come.
Yeah.
Just let it be. You'll know when it's right.
Right.
You'll know when it's right. So for me, now we're in the hospital. And it felt like right here. So I'm a rugby player and a weightlifter. That is my athletic talent of a little bit. Mm-hmm. It felt for me like somebody had sucker punched me in a rugby match right here. My nose hurt so bad. And of course, because I was in the hospital for other reasons, I was considered a fall risk. So
Mm-hmm.
they had my bed alarmed and all the stuff that I hate, but I understand why. But as a clinician, I was like, I got this. The
Yeah.
bathroom's right there. I can get to the bathroom, right?
Right.
Having my own little attitude party. And so I'm pressing the nurse call button, probably like stupid annoyance. The patients that we on the other side are like, oh my Lord, what next? That room again. And I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pushing that thing because I need somebody in there. First of all, I need to use the restroom. So we all know when we have an uncomfortable bladder what that's like.
Right. In a
I can't
hospital bed?
move out the bed because it's alarmed and I'm
Yeah.
attached to all the things.
Uh-huh.
Even though I know how to undo them, I'm trying to be obedient patient,
Right.
okay? Be in my lane. And a nurse comes in that I had never seen. And this is my hospital where I work professionally. I'm like, who is this woman? And she had clearly been in the medical field for a very long time when she was not having a good day. Okay. I'll
Oh
just leave it
no.
at that. And I said, I need to use the restroom. Can you please help me get up? I'll bring a bedpan. Like, heck you will. No, you will
Yeah.
not, ma'am. I need to get out of bed. And oh, by the way, I need a mirror. Do you have a handheld mirror? Can you just help me get in the bathroom? Because I know there's one hanging on the wall. Because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see the bruise on my face. Now, you have to understand, I did not yet connect the dots that I had just had a full on heavenly experience and was sent back to my physical body. I'm trying to sort this out for myself in the moment. And
Uh-huh.
she's looking at me like I have three heads with horns. Okay. And I'm sure I can understand now, like you're listening to a patient, and I had to be very careful with my words because in the military, that could have easily landed me a move over to our full on mental health hospital. And in that season of my service, that would have not been a really good thing and would have added more stress for my kids, which is what I did not want to do. We had already had enough stress,
Right.
right? So I kind of dealt with it at that time for myself, but then it was a lot of years before I ever told anybody other than my journal because I was still sorting out for myself. Did that really happen? How did it happen? Replaying all of the details, trying to put it together, looking in the Bible for me, that's my book of truth,
Mm-hmm.
and looking, trying to place things that I saw, that I witnessed. It was really an unraveling of me until, fast forward. Can I fast forward?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I had retired still while in the end of the cancer journey, retired from the service, moved out west, and settled there to finish raising my kids and start my retirement life and walk out the back end of this first chronic journey. And it was in that season, one day, my youngest child, at I think she was early middle school, they had the book fair.
Mhm.
And I love school book fairs back in the day. Always the coolest things, the coolest
Yeah.
gifts, the coolest merchandise. And my daughter went to a faith-based school, so we had a whole area of really faith-based resources, which I always loved to see what they were going to bring out.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in that day because that was her class's day to be there. And they asked us parents, hey, if you want to get here a little early, your children will meet you in the book fair. And then that way you can shop together and that sort of a thing. And I went straight back to the table where all the faith-based resources were. And I picked up this book. It was probably about as big as the screen that we're on, one of the larger hardback books that was drawn for children up to probably about fourth grade
Mm-hmm.
and simply narrated. And the title of that book was called Heaven is for Real. And when I opened the cover of the book, I didn't grab the page inside to get to the title page. I only had the cover and didn't realize it. Now, it was a hardback. So as it opens on the left-hand side, there are three pictures of three children, ages 13 and younger, and a little narration of their experience. Now, down here on the bottom left was a 13-year-old girl from Romania. And in her chronic illness journey, when she had her heaven experience, she lost her ability to speak when she came back to life.
Mm.
But she was divinely given the master artist gift where she could take a canvas and make it look like a Mozart or Monet. I mean, really incredible. And as her parents were trying to help her sort out what she had seen and experienced, and she was so excited to share with them, but obviously she couldn't speak anymore. So she was drawing a lot of pictures and writing a lot of things down.
Mhm.
And one of her therapists said, "Can you draw who you met?" And she was like, "Yes." Well, they
Mm.
had given her a life-size canvas. So imagine a wall with a life-size canvas to be painted on.
Yeah.
And that was the picture they had in her little narrative. And y'all, I
Mm.
hadn't even read the narrative yet, but when I saw the picture, it was exactly how the Lord presented to me.
Wow.
And I knew that I wasn't alone. And then they had another book that was written for parents, a more adult level. This was before I knew they were making a movie.
Mm.
And so here I am, a sobbing idiot parent. I had to turn my back to the entrance. I did not want my daughter to see me that way as
Oh.
I'm devouring this book and just really learning about this little Romanian girl. And I was like, okay, Lord, I get it. I
Wow.
got it now. So it was many, many years later before I started gently reprocessing and telling the story and remembering I was to have been telling anyone who would listen. I just didn't let anybody know there was something to listen to, y'all.
Wow, that is crazy. Listen, there's so many themes and messages in this podcast. Like, y'all, thank you for sticking with us. We're running a little long, and I just cannot. I couldn't do anything about it because it's too good. It's too good. Like, listen, pause and come back. Watch the replay. You'll be all right. The thing is, this podcast has so much hope and so much resilience and such a huge, like, if you are not out there telling your story, you are doing yourself and others a disservice. Char took like her time before she figured out how she could do this, and she's doing it, and she's continuing to do it, and it's been years. And how many lives she's impacted just by being herself and telling her story, not to mention all of the other things she does, okay, but just being herself and telling her story has changed so many lives. Do not hold this to your chest alone. You are not carrying this weight alone. You are not in this alone. And don't mind that we are, we are talking religion, we are talking God. I will always be a God girl. I will never shame anyone else for what they believe or how they interpret things. I am a God girl through and through, and I will always be talking about God. So thank you so much for coming on here and having such a beautiful message. So we might have to have a part two because I know
There's more.
Yes, I know there's so much more story. I know we might have to have a part two. Okay, so
Okay.
is this a
I'm
good,
game.
bookmark, or is there a better bookmark to it?
Oh, there's a better bookmark. I'll just leave with this, and this is where part 2 can begin. I'm game for part 2, by the way.
Awesome.
So understand all of these learnings. I got to actually utilize them 5.5 years ago when a large orange-sized non-cancerous brain tumor showed up, took my life. I was found dead. And 14 days from the date of surgery, I applied everything I learned in the cancer journey. And I've never had to have one more follow-up visit because miraculously, everything was as back to normal as it could be. Let's go.
I feel like a cartoon where you should be able to hear me blinking right now because I'm like, the shock on my face doesn't really come through on the podcast, but like, she was dead again, guys. She was dead again, and a brain in her brain, a brain tumor. This is, yep, that's this is a lot. It's so correct. She talks about it like it's. I, took a drink of water and took 2 steps to the left. Like, no, girl, you had a brain tumor? Okay, that's crazy. Okay.
I was asymptomatic. I mean, just understand when you know what you know that you know, life is a gift. It is a blessing. It is today. It's why it's called the present. You just show up and you live. If God wakes me up, y'all, I'm going to give it all I got. And I live loud and hard. I love to live life. It's why I do what I do professionally now, to help you understand there's a better way for you too.
Yes. Amen. This is madness. Okay, yeah. We're gonna have to schedule that part two because this is crazy. I didn't even I came on here with full confidence. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna share a story. No, I don't. No, I didn't. That's crazy. Okay, so yeah, surprise for real. Okay, so if you wanted, if they missed the whole podcast and you wanted to leave them with just one nugget to leave and go on with their life with, what would you leave them with?
The dreams that have been put in your heart, no matter when they came, are worth whatever it takes for you to go design the life that's going to allow you to live it. Let's
Come
go.
on. Come on. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been incredible. Incredible. Um, geez. Okay. Now, wow, I can't even my brain. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I didn't read as many comments as I could have. Um, couldn't do it because did you hear the story that was going on? It was good. It was very good. So, someone said the today's podcast is the light. Someone will shine because of you both. God bless you, Char and Tenille. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, yo, these comments were amazing. The Instagram showed up. Facebook showed up, even YouTube showed up. Y'all are fantastic. Thank you so much. I want to, before I leave, I want to make sure that I plug what is happening next week because it is Monday. And next week is next month. And next month is my masterclass, guys. Please show up and show out for me as well. It will be my masterclass, and it is titled How to Pull Yourself Up by the Bootstraps when you're actually just wearing hospital socks. It's your big sister's guide to designing your comeback and creating a life that you love. And that is all we're here to do. We're here to help you realize that you can do that. The closing remarks that she just made is exactly what we are talking about. Do not stunt yourself or play small because of a little chronic illness. All right? So we have chronic illness. We're all right. We're just going on with our lives, raising children, having major careers in the health atmosphere. You know, building multi-million-dollar companies, whatever, doing what we do. You know. So y'all, thank you so much. Come back and see us next week. And we're gonna schedule her for another one very soon, as soon as possible. Y'all stay happily healed. Have a blessed day. Goodbye. Is it ended? I don't know.